nearly 55,000 families will lose transportation if we don't restore those cuts.
I mean, they have lots of contracts. They just spent $4.7 million on books for 16 days of summer school. That seemed like an unnecessary expenditure.
Whether we're talking about arts and music, whether we're talking about athletics, whether we're talking about summer school, reduced class size and early childhood, all the rest, it really depends on the family. I think one of the things that you see here is the enormous range of services that the school district provides to the families of Philadelphia.
There's lots of money in a $2.7 billion budget that can find $25 million. There is no way to convince me that there are things less important that are currently in their requested appropriation.
But I do think that we've been clear about what we think the broadest based and most disruptive cuts would be. Certainly kindergarten and transportation, I think, are at the top of everybody's list.
And you're already assuming that the city will pick up $11 million in your rebalancing plan, right?
Either that they will pick up these costs or that they will simply be cut.
So it doesn't sound like you're like anywhere close to the idea of trying to raise more money for them at this
Not at this point.
What are you going to have to need to hear from them before you might consider either arranging the city budget slightly differently or actually hiking taxes?
Well, I mean, what essentially they requested in private yesterday was a shift of the millage, but what that really does is remove $53 million from the city's general fund and put it in the school district. It is essentially making permanent the 2-year temporary 9.9% tax increase that was passed by City Council last year, which I did not vote for to begin with. So, I think there's a lot of consensus on council for getting them more money. The problem, from my perspective, is we have no or limited oversight with respect to what they do, as you heard in their testimony. Once we throw the money over the wall, they can or cannot spend it as we suggest. And when you look at the fact that in their assumptions today, they're assuming $75 million in concessions from the labor, and they're assuming on top of that they're going to get $57 million in charter school reimbursement that we don't know that they're going to get. So my big fear is that we'd provide money for the things that we consider to be priorities, and they wouldn't achieve either of those two things, which would